Les Deux Alpes. Les Deux Alpes is a ski resort located in France, near Grenoble. I was lucky enough to go out there in January 2024 and I had an amazing time, so I thought I'd make a video and kind of share all my thoughts about the place. Things I'm going to go over in this video is getting there, what the best way to get there by plane or train, the town, what the actual town is like, is it a good place to stay, the accommodation options, is there a lot of options, is it expensive or is it cheap, skiing as well, the piste, the size of the resorts, any interesting runs that stick out, the snow conditions and season length, also après ski, essentially everything outside of what isn't skiing. All the costs as well, is it an expensive place to be, does the ski pass cost a lot but the accommodation's cheaper, and then also just the pros and cons and conclusion and my general final thoughts on it. So I hope you enjoy the video really. Get into Les Deux Alpes. So by plane, the closest airport is Grenoble, which is an hour-and-a-half drive away by car. Lyon is second with 2 hours, and then Geneva is 3 hours. Going to Grenoble is quite easy, especially if you're coming from London. They have flights normally around the weekends, and that also makes transfers really easy because most of the ski companies do transfers on Saturdays. There's flights all throughout the week from Lyon and Geneva being much bigger airports. I will emphasise that Grenoble is a very small airport and it kind of feels like you're at someone's farm more than a big international airport, so do bear that in mind. But it's not an issue. There's also buses from Les Deux Alpes to the actual town of Grenoble, where you can get the train to anywhere in France or even Switzerland, so you can even technically do it by Eurostar if you could get a good deal. Overall, I would say the best option is to fly to Grenoble and then get a transfer there, because the transfers are the cheapest from Grenoble when compared to Geneva, because just general shorter driving distance. You can get stuck in traffic when you have, because you have to go through the town of Grenoble from the airport, and you can get stuck in traffic there. However, the same happens from all the other airports, so it's not really a big issue. But again, really easy resort to get to. The town of Les Deux Alpes was actually really cool, had a very young, energetic vibe to it, plenty of food, drink and accommodation options, and unlike other ski resorts, it's all one big town for one ski resort, so you don't have to worry about having après or drinks in one and then quickly skiing back in the afternoon to where you're actually staying. You know, you might be slightly more out the centre of the town, however they've got a free bus network. If you're staying in the town, you just hop on, hop off, and it's running all the time. You can bring your ski equipment on there. Most of the town is near a ski lift, and most of the bars and restaurants are centred around the Jandry 1 lift, which is really helpful. But overall, it can be slightly more expensive. Our typical drinks price for like a beer was 7 or 8 euros, which is expensive, but not the worst I've seen when you compare it to some of like the Three Valleys and other resorts of that calibre. I loved skiing at Les Deux Alpes. It's one of the best times I've been skiing, and we had amazing snow when we were out there. It snowed 70 centimetres in 3 days, so please understand that I have a very positive outlook because of the conditions. I understand if it was worse conditions, I would have probably a worse experience, but I still would have tried to be honest. But anyway, the resort is huge, particularly long. The base is at 1650 metres, and that's where all the village, that's where everything is, and it goes all the way up to 3,600 metres at the top of the glacier. The top half between 3,200 to 3,600 is all the glacier. You've all got button lifts, they drag you up the glacier. And below 3,200 to about 2,100 was all like the main area, the main lifts. This area was a bit wider, was my favourite area when the conditions were good, obviously. Less crowded, long open runs, a lot of reds and blue runs, a few blacks as well. I would recommend skiing to the bottom of the glacier and then ski between there and 2,100 and just keep going up. Don't get caught in that last little bit until the end of the day. There's also another area called Vallée Blanche, I believe, which is a lower altitude area on the other mountain on the other side of the village, and it's mainly used for night skiing. You can ski there as well, but it's the first area they close in the spring, and they also open it really early for mountain biking, so you can ski and mountain bike at the same time, which is pretty cool. There is loads of accommodation in Les Deux Alpes. It ranges from expensive to quite cheap. My approach to ski holidays is always find the cheapest Airbnb and try and share between like 4, 6, 8 of your mates. One problem I found with the Airbnbs in France is yes, they were cheaper when you compare them to other countries, like specifically in ski resorts. However, they all didn't come with bed linen. So like sheets and pillow covers. So you'd either have to pay extra for that, which could be like 20 to 30 euros per bed, or you'd have to bring it, which is obviously a problem if you're flying there because you've got limited bag space. But if you live locally, it's not too bad. They also don't normally provide towels as well, but that's not too much of an issue. But something to watch out. It's pretty standard across French Airbnbs, so don't be shocked by it. There are hotels and hostels in Les Deux Alpes. However, they're not that cheap. There are hostels, but again, if you're sharing an Airbnb with your mates, that's probably the most cost-effective way to go. Again, on the higher end, there is loads of chalets and loads of expensive hotels that are catered that you can get and probably have the best experience. But again, this is if you have loads of money. But as a whole, it's an affordable place for a ski resort for accommodation. However, it is very expensive during holiday periods, so over Christmas and New Year, and then February half term and Easter. Après skiing in Les Deux Alpes is actually pretty good. Don't get me wrong, it's no free valleys with La Folie Douche, but it's still very good. The Après starts up in the mountain at Panneau Bar at about 1 o'clock. Lots of music's normally playing, and then people gradually work their way down the slope. The next stop for some people, not all, is La Diable, is another bar. This is quite expensive bar, but people quite like it because it's got a nice view. People will be playing music, it's a bit more of a chill vibe. And after that, when the slopes close, everyone heads down to Umbrella Bar, which is the main Après bar. Everyone's there after skiing, it's packed. The beer's about €7 as of Jan 2025. It could go up, it probably will do at some point, but it was always packed, especially on a Wednesday when all the seasonaires go out. I'd really recommend going there. After that closes, about roughly 7:30, everyone goes back, gets changed normally, and then gets some food, and then heads to other bars, like there's Penguin and Polar Bear Bar, and they're open pretty late into the morning. The price at Les Deux Alpes. Probably one of the worst parts of Les Deux Alpes. A 6-day ski pass costs €326.5. That's extortionate. Again, if you compare it to countries like Austria, it's still cheaper. However, it's a lot of money and normally roughly about half the holiday budget for most people doing it on a low cost. Ski rental's alright. I always do it for Intersport and use their member discount, and Snow Forecast 5% off, which you can do by googling Snow Forecast, following their affiliate link and doing it that way. Again, I'm not trying to promote it, but it saves money, so why not? For a week skiing, you can get intermediate skis for about €100 without boots, and with boots it'd be about 130, which is okay comparatively considering you're getting 6 days. A day pass is still €66, so if you turn up for 1 day, it's quite expensive. Food on the mountain, again, it's not very good and it's ridiculously expensive. I'd just make a sandwich. However, on the brighter side, in the town, prices are more competitive. Again, not cheap, but let's go with fair for a ski resort. This is probably due to everything being more independent businesses, no massive ski company owning all the restaurants and being able to standardise the price. Again, allowing competition between vendors. So, accommodation in Les Deux Alpes. Accommodation in Les Deux Alpes, there's plenty of accommodation. My approach to ski holidays is always find the cheapest Airbnb possible. Les Deux Alpes is quite good for this. There's plenty of Airbnbs, and if booked in advance, there's plenty of options. However, with French Airbnbs and ski villages, they never provide like bed linen or anything, so you have to kind of pay extra or bring your own, which is great if you live in France because you can just do that. But if you're trying to get a flight and have limited baggage, it does create quite a problem. Again, it's not too bad. It's only about €20 per head extra, which is okay, but just one annoying thing to watch out for. And I don't even know if it's allowed on Airbnb. So, in conclusion, Les Deux Alpes is a really good ski resort which I'd recommend going to. It's not the best in France, that title goes to resorts like Chamonix and the Three Valleys, however, it's really good option. Compared to other big ski resorts in Europe, it's got fair pricing, still expensive, but you can get a good deal. Other resorts that I'd recommend as well, that's similar to Les Deux Alpes, is Outdoors, which is very close by. Les Deux Alpes is also very snow shore. They've always got snow at higher altitude. They even do summer skiing on the glacier. Again, don't know how good this is, but it's probably a bit variable. In terms of costs, I'm going again in January 2026 for a week just after New Year's, and our trip with everything from flights, accommodation, transfer, ski pass and ski hire, it's going to cost around £700. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think down in the comments.
Oh.